Due to modern selective chicken breeding, laying hen strains are different from those of meat production strains. And this week on Kilimo na Biashara, we want to learn more about cage chicken farming. Feed for what other people call it backyard and fancy poultry farming should be predominantly 90% a commercial prepared balanced pellet diet, which can then be supplemented 10% of daily intake with kitchen vegetable scraps, whole scratch grain or garden forages. Chicken feed vary from one farmer to the next. Now let's go and explore chicken caged farming or caged poultry farming.
Thank you so much, Gitch. Wow. It's quite slippery here, but Kilimo na Biashara show is still on. And welcome to the show. Today we have a great show lined up for you, and you're right on time. There are different types of poultry farming, and we've actually focused on so many of them. But guess what? There's another one. There's cage poultry farming. So that's what we'll be exploring today, and we have to do it like this minute because the rains are about to pour right here in Murang'a County. So we have to do this real quick. So shall we? Let's start from the brooding section. Let's go.
Hi.
Hello.
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Karibu sana.
You're really blessed. This place is raining. You've been blessed in the morning.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
karibu sana.
Asante.
In our broiler farm.
So tell me, what's happening here? Lots of chicks.
Here we do broilers. Broilers are a type of birds where you purpose to get meat. And they are mature at week 4 to week 5.
So how old are these? Are they of the same age?
No. Every week we have a new stock. So here we have birds of 5 days, other birds of 10 days, going 11 days. There are birds that are going 3 weeks. There are birds that are 1 month. There are birds that are due for slaughter at 5 weeks.
But yes, so even before we talk or get into the nitty-gritties of this type of farming, I would like to know more about this structure. Just looking at it, I've seen so many poultry houses, but this one is quite unique. Tell us about it.
This is a brooder, where you must maintain a higher temperature from 30 degrees Celsius all the way to 35. And in this case, it's to ensure that the same environment that the chicks would get with their mother is provided here. That's why you feel the temperature is slightly higher. We use a burner, we use gas. Gas is more economical than charcoal.
I thought gas is quite expensive.
When you have a burner burning throughout, it goes for 3 days. And if you are to use charcoal, you'll use almost a bag every day. So gas is much cheaper. So the gas here burns throughout because we have chicks coming in every week. The chicks are supposed to be in brooder for 3 weeks. That is 21 days. So we ensure that we keep the chicks for 21 days in this brooder before we transfer them to where the adult birds are.
So tell me more about this cage. It accommodates approximately how many chicks inside? And when I was doing my research, I discovered that you were actually the one who innovated this.
We were occasioned by the scarcity of space. This farm lies in a very small plot of 45 feet by 95. And for this case, we had to design a model in which we are going to accommodate more chicks. So one cage that has 3 stories carries each story carries 120 to 150 birds. So if it's 150 chicks at day 1 to 7th day, there will be 450 in one story, 450 to 500. And that's why our capacity is 1,500 weekly. Yeah, so every cage carries 450 to 500 chicks At adult, the ratio changes.
Now tell me, and what are some of the components that you find inside the cage?
This cage is metallic. It has doors. It has 3 doors for accessibility so that the water and feeds can be put inside easily. The cage also has a model in which we can be able to take away the waste, the dropping. That the dropping in upper cage don't go to the lower cage. And also to ensure there is enough air circulation, there is a good spacing from one cage to the other. Also, where the chicks are stepping on, we put a plastic mesh wire. We call it monkey wire. That monkey wire, it's very good because it has small spaces where the food cannot go inside, it cannot be trapped, and the chicks are very comfortable.
This is quite a unique venture.
And also noting that if you don't use cage, you have to use sawdust. And sawdust, it's more expensive to buy the sawdust. To maintain the sawdust dry throughout, unlike in this one where you don't have sawdust, just put the chick, the dropping goes down, and you remove the dropping. So the feeds are clean, the water is clean, and this ensures that you run away from some illness that are occasioned by dirty and moist, like coccidiosis and other diseases.
Canon, you will tell us more about how you control diseases here in this particular area, but I'm just curious to know, how did this journey begin? How did you decide I'm settling on this? And what's your profession? Let's start there.
Personally, I'm a priest by profession. Of course, I do other things, but that's the main one. And then the passion developed with poultry about 10 years ago. So we did layers in large scale. But when I came to Nairobi, I had to think about which is the easiest way to do farming, and I felt broilers are more marketable. People eat broilers every day. And we began small. We began with 500 birds in the same place, but we were using a deep litter system. So 500 every month. Later we went to 1,000 every month. Then we went to 1,000 2 times a month. Then now I wanted to go to selling birds every week in large scale. And to get land is not easy. So I had to think on how to come up with caging system. And here we are.
And during my research, I discovered that you're actually the one who innovated this. You came up with this innovation.
It's quite unique. I had to come up with, I had to design myself. This is actually my design. And when you see the adult one, the water is outside the cage. I'll be able to explain. But for this one, the water is inside the cage, but there are doors to put the water inside and to ensure that the birds are comfortable inside here.
So from the brooder to which side? Is there another section?
Yes, from here we'll take you to the other side. Let's go.
Let's go. So what section is this? How many weeks old?
In this area, once they come from where you saw first week, second week, they come to this place.
And why do you have to transfer them? They can't stay with the rest of the brooders.
We transfer them because the environment is different. The temperature is different. So they transit to give room for other birds that are supposed to be coming. Because we bring birds every Monday.
So what changes do they undergo when they move from the brooder to this particular area?
At this age, in 3 weeks, they are now big birds. They don't even need a lot of care. They can feed comfortably, adapt to cold and even hot temperature without any need of human intervention. So in this place, they are being prepared to go to the main cages. So in this case, you see the cages still have doors. They are wooden, but still have doors. Where inside there we have feeders and drinkers. And by this age, they are all vaccinated. They are vaccinated against Newcastle, and against Gumbolo. Those are major diseases that we vaccinate. So by this time, they are vaccinated, even as they go to the main cages.
So aside from those diseases that you've mentioned, which other diseases are they susceptible to? Or even when a farmer gets a particular disease, how should they handle?
At an advanced stage, infectious bronchitis, respiratory diseases, but also coccidiosis. Coccidiosis is a bacterial infection, and it's a serious one. in a place you have not experienced it, but it's a serious one. If you don't vaccinate against Newcastle, again, it's a dangerous disease altogether. So it's good to vaccinate. We do it at day 10. After 5 days, again, we go to Gumboro. Then we revisit again Newcastle, and at that level, we wait for sale.
Yeah, so this is one of the crucial stages of these birds.
Absolutely, yes. Yes. But when you look at the cages, it's more safer because where we step, chicks won't come there. You can never step to where chicks are. So the place is more safe and more protective, especially to diseases, infectious diseases. Yes, you can just see them as you see them right now. You can't go near them. Yes, you can't touch them.
And so before you move them to the next section, which is the last section, and this is the crucial part, what are those last minute things that you prepare them before you move them to the other section?
Of course, we move the healthy bird. The bird that we feel they need still more attention, they are retained. Others are taken to the sick bay, where they are given special attention.
Allah, you have a sick bay?
There is a sick bay, which accommodates all the sick, disabled. There are birds that come disabled, there are birds who come with disorders. They are all kept there. And surprisingly, they all go to maturity. We sell them.
Yeah, because they are healthy. Okay, then let's go to the next stage. Okay, let's go. One thing I've noticed so far is that the rest of them right here are just chilled, well fed. But there's a section that is hungry. Today we are focusing on cage poultry farming. There are different types of poultry farming. So this one is particularly this chicken under cages. So that is what we're exploring today, and the feeding is happening right here. So Canon, what are you feeding them with?
We are feeding them feeds, the pellets. The first feed they take is called crumbs, starter crumbs. It has more protein. It's a high nutritional feed than this one. This is meant for finishing. It's a finisher feed. It's called pellets finisher for broilers.
So that's one of the best, especially when you're feeding them at this level. But I know also feeds is a major crisis for many farmers. It's quite expensive. How do you go about that?
With caging system, the bird don't eat a lot of food. You learn that where you are using 20 bags of starter for 1,000 birds, here we use 20 bags of starter for 1,500 birds. Where you use 45 finishers for a normal deep litter system, in this type of caging system, we get ourselves using 45 bags of finisher for 1,500 birds.
So aside from many types of poultry farming that people are practicing, what sets aside cage poultry farming?
The uniqueness with this type of cage is that the bird has a space to walk around. The bird can run up and down. It's not caged per se. They're just separated from one level to the other, from one story to the other. But the essence of caging the bird isn't there. The bird can just move freely.
The way there are so many, I feel like they will compete for food. How do you ensure that they get uniform maturity?
Right now they are being stuffed for slaughter, but in normal circumstances they have food all around. The whole of this cage has, this side has food, the other side has food, and on this side has water, the other side has water. And our water is, one trough of water carries 10 liters. So in this side we have 20 liters, and that side we have 20 liters. So you have plenty of water in every story.
And that means it's a heavy consumer of water.
Absolutely yes, because 120 birds up here will end up consuming almost 40 liters a day. which is actually a lot of water.
And so aside from availability of water, what are those key requirements, especially for a farmer who wants to begin this type of farming? What are some of the pointers that you can give for them?
A farmer should consider 3 crucial things when you want to do poultry farming, and especially broilers in this case. Number 1, we have management. In management, it entails human resource management. The employees, the people who will be taking care of the farm, they must be well trained, they must be motivated to work. Number 2 on management, we come to records. You must have record keeping to know whether you are doing a profit or a loss, where you record on feeds, the cost of buying the birds, possibly the vaccination and medication, and all the other expenditures that will be in the farm. We also have the structure, that you must have a knowledge on the structure and manage the structure effectively to ensure that the structure is dry, there is no smell that is coaching, and the next thing that a farmer should consider is feeds. You must ensure there is availability of feeds, availability of water, and availability of light. This bird would wish to feed more, with more hours available to expose to feeds than other birds. So in this case, even if they are supposed to be in darkness, you'll have like 3-4 hours of darkness, and then expose them again to light, that they can be able to feed and drink water. And the last thing is disease control. You must have disease control measures. Cage system by itself, put those measures in place. You don't come into contact with birds. So the birds are very safe, far away from any means that can carry disease. But the other diseases that a farmer should be aware of, vaccination, those are the 3 things that are important.
And there's something also Canon have discovered, lots of chicken droppings. What do you do with them? Do you sell it, or what other advantages do you get from this particular type of farming?
This dropping, one thing that you learn with this is that the dropping don't come into contact with water. The water is far much away. That's why there is no smell from the dropping. There is no house flies around. There's no flies around, no, because the water is very far. Even if it drops, it doesn't drop to the droppings per se. And then removing of this dropping is as easy as just pulling this. And just pull it, you are able to see the droppings. This dropping are very good feeds for pigs. As fresh as it is, you just give it to pigs, and the pigs will enjoy it. The protein content of this dropping is still high, bearing in mind that the protein content that we give broilers, possibly this finisher, is at 22%. So the dropping, in this dropping, the protein content is at 16 to 17, which does very well with pigs. Another thing, this dropping is good with biogas. It's good with our farms, a very good manure, and it does very well. The day 1 dropping is more nutritional. The first week droppings are more nutritional because they are feeding on broiler starter. What you do, those dropping over day 1, they are just dried. And when you dry them, you recycle back to these birds when they are at their finisher level. For example, this bird, in the last 2 days, they are feeding on the dropping of the chicks in the first week. So you're able to save at least 2-3 days. You're able to save about 10 bags, possibly 8-10 bags, when you have enough dropping of the first week.
Ooh, and that's innovation.
Yeah, it's as good as that.
And how does it perform when they eat the droppings?
It does very well. It does very well. So the purpose of having this one here taken out in this manner is to ensure we protect the trough from getting the waste, the dropping. So the trough is protected.
And now let's talk about the market dynamics when it comes to cage poultry farming. How much does it go for?
Broiler in Nairobi doesn't lack a market per se. People eat. So even this one which will be slaughtered today, they have a market. Tomorrow they'll have a market, but the price differs. You'll get per kilo, when the price is to the lowest, it's 260. Now that one affects the farmer. What have we done to ensure we are not affected by that is selling every week. So if this week you're not lucky, the next week, the other week you'll be lucky. But hardly do you get that scenario of the price going below. It's hardly, unless there is a maandamano or something else. Otherwise, the price ranges between 280, 290, 300, 320 to 340. Yes, per kilo. So we sell per kilo. Don't forget, we also sell the head, we sell the legs, we sell the livers.
Separately?
Separately. So there's nothing that is actually come to waste when you come to broiler. The intestines, the people who have pigs, actually are able also to have the intestines for pig.
And where is your biggest market, since now you're based in Murang'a County?
My biggest market is Nairobi. City market, Ngala market, Eastleigh market, sometimes in big hotels.
Is it capital intensive? And also talk to us about the returns on investment when it comes to this particular venture.
Yes, it's a capital intensive venture because the money that runs here ranges to 3 million. When it comes to birds that are here already, the feeds that are in the stock, when you consider the recurrent expenditure every month is also high. But as a normal investor, you look forward for the profit. So when a person wants to venture into poultry farming or any other farming, I feel the best thing is to get information. Get information on how to do it. Get information on how to manage the birds, get information on how to deal with feeding and water, vaccine, and the best breed, how to identify the best breed, the best feed, and all that. The information is very key and very crucial. Yes, and most time the information, you can get it in the internet, but also through visiting other farms.
So do people normally come here to visit or even to tap into your vast knowledge of this venture?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I think you have seen other visiting. Yes, they do visit.
So with a capacity of over 7,000 birds right here, why didn't you decide to create your own hatchery and hatch your own chicken?
One is hatching is a totally difficult venture when you come to broilers because this need a mother breed. That's another world altogether. But the most breed that we use is from Uganda. We get our breed from Uganda. There's Benzika, there is still another type of breed from Uganda. And the main reason is availability, reliability. They are reliable. You can rely on them. If you agree that you get chicks every Monday you get the chicks. So sometimes the local producers, they'll tell you, no, this week you didn't have a hatch, so we wait next week. And in our case here, we want consistency, that every week we have new stock every week at a designated time for continuity.
And now since you've become an expert in this field, how do you see the future of cage poultry farming?
I think it's cost friendly, except the cost of buying the cage. From there going on, if you have pigs, you have food for pigs. You don't have to buy sawdust. You don't have to have the hassle of ensuring that the sawdust is dry, managing the smell in the farm. A small space like this, which is less than 1/8 of an acre, holds about 7,500 to 8,000 birds. Still, we have housing for workers, we have store, we have other things. So it means this is the way to go. What is the future for this farm? We'd wish to see ourselves not doing 1,000 to 2,000 birds a week, but doing 10,000 birds a week, possibly. That means 4 times what we are doing now. That's where we want to go. And I think caging system is the best way to go.
But now, Canon, why not layers? Because you decided it's fully broilers.
I don't have a problem with the layers, they are good, but I felt broilers would have more returns. This business.
And it's all business.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We truly appreciate it, even just for allowing us to come here. For being part of the show today. Tell me this has not gotten your interest. This is one of the most popular business in the country, but now you have a different dynamic. Now you know how to do a different type of poultry farming. There are different varieties, but now you can try cage poultry farming in a small portion of land, just like this one. This one is less than 1/8, and look at the population, over 7,000 chicken right here and ready for the market. So until next time, see you again for another Kilimo na Biashara show. See you.